Gundam.tk presents Seravee Gundam. Hey, what's up everybody? Robert 184 2Rs 2Bs, and welcome to my review, this time of the 1/100th non-grade Seravee Gundam. Enough with the details, let's actually take a look at what you get when everything is put together. Here's a quick look at all the parts, and really quickly, starting with Seraphim, you get the head, two arms, with two fists in here that you can detach. The chest is separate from the waist, which is poor. They could have done that on all the 1/100th models. The legs are very small. Something I'm really happy with is you get two special attachments for the action base, one for Seravee, one for Seraphim. You get two beam sabers, not quite enough for 6, two of these bazookas. The legs for the Seravee are just massive. The waist section, you can see here that the lower torso is attached to the waist, and the chest is very small, just like all of the other 1/100th kits so far in the line. The arms and the head. I finished the Seraphim, and when you look at these plates, 3 plates got used up completely. But what's neat is that with the A plate, for example, is at the top you have the Seravee parts, which I'm not done yet, but at the bottom, the Seraphim, you could actually cut this right here on both sides, and Bandai could package that up along with half of the E plates and half of this plate, and they could sell the Seraphim Gundam separately. Starting at the bottom and working our way up, you can see here that the legs are just huge. For ankle mobility, fairly good side to side, front to back, but the foot is only made out of 4 pieces. The legs feel very hollow, but they do have a nice yellow part down there. As for this part, it can bend this much, and of course what's really cool is that this is a bazooka, which can come out, and it pulls down a little bit here, that's on a ball joint, so it can move around there, and you can put a fist in here to hold the beam sabers. Now, one thing that I'm going to complain about is these holes, which look really good when you have a fist in there, but otherwise they look pretty lame as far as bazookas go. Now, the waist section is primarily white, with just some regular Gundam red on here, 2 ball joints for the legs, and no fancy moving parts. These are again just very hollow. There's just a big large white piece with 2 gray pieces that you insert. You can add some lining there. And if you pull it up a little bit here, you can actually swing them forward and back, but in its default, if you push it down, it's going to actually stay stuck there. Now, I like the chest because the color is sort of unique. It's not the dark black that I was expecting. I wouldn't even know what color to call this, but it's certainly not black. Here's black, so this is a little bluish with some yellow in it. The arms go back to being like 00 and Caradum, so they're different from Arios. And on the back is where we're going to attach the Seravee. I like the arms of the Seravee. The wrists are exactly the same as all the other 00 Gundams, but down here is where you actually put the beam sabers, which makes sense. They just pop out straight into the hand and he gets ready to go. Now, I painted this green here on the elbow, but again you can just put a dark seal under that, but because I have the paint, I used it anyway. The shoulders, you can move the arm in and out this much. This piece gets in the way a little bit of anything more, another yellow accent piece, and the arm itself can bend this much. I really like the head of the Seravee Gundam, and something that doesn't show off when you see picture reviews so much is that these white antennas really stand out. I always tended to focus my eyes on the yellow antenna. I had to put some black lining here, and they don't actually give you a line over here, so you have to just come up with your own straight line, and you can see that's starting to fade, so I'm going to have to touch that up. Now, again, I've said this over and over again, painting the red jewel for me makes all the difference, and that's what makes this head look pretty cool. I can add some lining. It's probably just splitting apart a little bit there, but overall it's big and fat, and I think it looks a fair bit better than Virtue's. But of course, where the real winner is for the Seravee is with the bazookas, the GN Bazooka 2. Now, for moving parts on here, you get a part here that will go into the back of the Seraphim backpack if you want to attach it up there. The trigger actually folds all the way in. This piece rotates, and the black part here, this green part was painted by Bandai, so that was nice, and this can slide up when you're actually going to put it into the burst mode. When you want to combine the weapons, what you do is you just bend down one of the triggers, And these pieces are offset, and they actually fit together very snugly. And at the bottom, the yellow pieces are also offset, so you can put that together, and you will actually get a very solid feel that this is one weapon now. And then, of course, you can bend these black parts up as well, so depending on what kind of pose that you're trying to do. And then if you slide these two parts up and down respectively, you can have the Seravee Gundam with its angriest weapon of all. So Bandai, please do this every time, but you get 2 custom pieces for the 1/100th action base, so you can put Seravee and Seraphim up in the air for aerial poses. Now there's absolutely nothing interesting about the beam sabers. In fact, if I was to compare that to 6 of these other beam sabers from the 00 line, you wouldn't notice any difference at all. I wonder what I'll do with all 6 of these. Taking a look at the Seraphim, the first thing I noticed was how small the foot is, and this bends up and out of the way, and you'll see that used in the transformation into the backpack. So it's basically got an ankle. This is on a ball joint, so you do get a fair bit of mobility. The foot has no mobility though, just up and down. And the knees can bend that much, as you'd expect. But one thing here is you can really notice the split line there. They could have given you a seal or something. One yellow accent part at the top. Now why oh why does the Seraphim have a waist that's separate from the top of the chest, but the other ones don't? But anyway, no big deal. Everything is a very simple black on this, and I just added in some black lining just to add a little bit of texture. But of course, what I was most interested with in the Seraphim is the face on the back. And very simply, you have 2 holographic seals on there. You don't have an option. They have to be holographic. And you have the shoulders can bend up and down there. These are on ball joints, so they're fairly mobile. They can come forward and out like this, up and back. The neck piece here, and just to give you an idea, I'll show the transformation later, but the head will pull down, revealing the holographic eyes. This should be red here, so if you're a good painter, you should put some red underneath the eyes, and then you would pull this forward for the angry full burst mode. Although I've noticed that the antennas, you have to move them a little bit carefully. So the final thing to note here is that it's going to attach on at the back using this, and this is really nice. It's on a sliding piece up here, so if you slide that forward, then you can actually make the giant Gundam head. Just hide those. Yeah, that's bigger than a perfect grade right there. With the Seraphim Gundam, the possibilities for Frankensteining are just awesome. So when it's in backpack mode, the Seraphim Gundam's arm looks like this, and it actually fits together very snugly. You can just see a hint of the green elbow piece in there, but the arm squeezes in. Now to free it, you have to open up this a little bit, and then you have to pull that out because otherwise it'll stay locked in place, and you can turn it around here. But the mobility is hampered by this piece at the back, so you've really got to keep that up. But if you want to bring it forward, you can use it as an arm cannon, same complaint as the legs with the hole there when you don't want it. But when you want to put in the arm you can put in just like this, and then put in the beam sabers. Now something I wanted to note was, I had an idea before I built this that I'd be able to replace these ones with the holes with this one on the arm, thinking that it would be less inconspicuous here. But anyway, it doesn't work because they actually have a lip under here, so you can't replace this without doing some cutting. My only real complaint with the Seraphim is something not with the model, but instead with the design. I think the head is really boring. It doesn't stand out. It has Destiny's sort of red Joker's tears. But to give you an idea of the size comparison, let's put them side by side. So there it is, Seraphim beside Seravee. So that's all the parts. Now stay tuned to see them all put together. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget, I now have too many Gundam reviews up, and you can check them all out on YouTube at www.gundam.tk.